In the last 30 days, I shot over 4,000 photos in 2 different places, Paris and Puerto Rico. And since, if you're like me, we're getting out there and practicing and actually shooting photos helps me grow and improve more than anything else, you can probably relate to my feeling of learning more in those past 30 days than I did in the prior 6 months. So today, aside from sharing some of the photos that I took on those 2 trips, I want to share 5 things that I learned from traveling to these 2 completely different places. Oh, and if we haven't met yet, I'm Ken. I'm an amateur photographer learning photography right here along with you. I'm also the founder of the Big Photo Hunt, which is arguably the world's most friendly photography community. It's really friendly. All right, let's get into it. Here's what I learned that I want to share with you. And the 5th one I think is the most important. It's something that finally clicked for me after many trips traveling for photography. Let's do it. All right, the first lesson that I learned is that it is absolutely impossible to be a perfect photographer. In fact, speaking now to almost 50 different photographers in my podcast, I've learned that even the best of us, actually all of the best of us, don't shoot perfect shots every time.
I see your work and I'm like, it appears to me, someone like you, you're just nailing it every time. And
yeah, well, that's not the case. Obviously, I'm taking thousands of photos, and you know the percentage that I want to show is very small.
And so on these 2 trips, I was probably shooting 400 to 500 photos per day, but that was liberating. And it's important to clarify here that I'm not saying to go out and shoot without intention. Be deliberate and go out there and shoot and focus on what you're focusing on. Focus on what you're shooting. But what I am saying is to release your hesitation. Go shoot and have fun. And when you do this, you'll stop making decisions. The camera just kind of becomes an extension of your arm. It becomes part of you. It's like you open a door. You don't think about opening the door or shake someone's hand. Well, I think about some hands I don't want to shake. But when you're doing something like that, it's like the camera's just part of you and you just pop off shots. Which leads to the second thing that I learned is that when you start getting all your photos back from this volume of shots, you're going to learn that your keeper rate, that's the amount of photos that you come back with that you may actually want to share with people. Well, that's going to humble you. For example, of the 4,000 photos that I shot, maybe 60 of them are keepers, and maybe 5 to 6 of those are photos that I'm proud of. But this is important because I think a 1.5% keeper rate, I think that's pretty normal. I don't know. What's your keeper rate? Share them in the comments below. I'd love to know where people are landing. My guess is that if you get in there, a lot of us will have lower keeper rates than we actually think. But that means you're out there practicing, and that helps you grow, which theoretically will help you improve your keeper rate. Moving on to the third thing that I learned, and this was basically learned by the contrast between my trip in Paris and Puerto Rico, and it made a bigger difference than I expected. This was that shooting with other people changes everything for the better. Paris was a workshop, 8 photographers, it was structured, I was out there seeing things differently. Puerto Rico, it was a family trip, and although I was there with my family, I was still kind of solo as the photographer. I had no one else to really kind of cross-reference and hang out with when it came down to photography. In Paris, someone in the group would stop, we'd all take the same photo and we'd look and they're all different, and so we were learning as we were going. In Puerto Rico, going solo was it had its own freedom there. The practice was great, but I didn't have that learning structure built in, and so a lot of the photos I came away with were not as, I don't know, they weren't as strong to me at least as the photos I took in Paris. The fourth thing that I learned, and this was very interesting, was that I felt that being a photographer and being present in both of these experiences were both kind of in tension with each other. And what I mean is that when you're traveling and you're in a foreign destination, it's very easy to look at the world through your camera. But if you force yourself to take your camera down and be present and take in the scene, you actually wind up getting better photos because you can sense and see what's around you. And this was something that Pierre on our workshop in Paris actually harped on. He had us do an exercise where we just closed our eyes and used our other senses to kind of set the scene and see what was around us. And it helped us realize that there's so much more happening than just what's through your lens. Bring your camera down. Feel it, see it, experience it, and then pop your camera back up and take a shot. It's pretty cool. You see things completely differently, and there's a whole new world. There's a whole new world of things to see. And the fifth thing that I learned, and to me this was the most important because it's something it's just been gnawing at me, and I thought it was something that was bothering me when I'm out traveling for photography, but I couldn't tell. And then these trips, they solidified it for me, and that is that it takes a day or two on every trip to stop seeing like a tourist and to make better photos. And what I mean here is when you get to a destination, any destination. Again, we're using Paris and Puerto Rico here as references. So for Paris, for example, when you get there, it's like, oh, Paris, and you're just shooting everything. But for real street photography in that case, a lot of times that's cool, that's tourist photography, but the stories, they lie beyond all that. And it takes a day or so to get into the groove and to feel your flow and to feel comfortable. I wouldn't say you're a local, but you're definitely not in that shock and awe factor when you first get to a new destination. It always takes me a good day to kind of warm up and get into my flow. These lessons, hopefully they're not, but they may seem silly. I know a lot of people, when they're watching YouTube videos, they want technical tips and tricks. But the real strengths of photography, they're the intangibles. Anyone can go out and buy a camera and learn the technical skills, but it's the intangibles that make you a better photographer. It's how you see, it's how you experience, it's what you learn each time you go out and shoot photography. I don't know if you agree with me, but if any of these resonated with you, I'd love to hear which ones in the comments. Or if you have any other tips that you've experienced when you're out traveling, and please let me know those too so that we can all share them and learn from you. And of course, if you want a recommendation for the best lens to use for street or landscape photography, I've got both of those videos right here. I'll catch you next week.